Hey everyone, so in this video we are going to learn how you can export a car model from Blender to Unreal Engine in a proper way so that it works without any errors. So let's go to file and import our car model. This is the car model I have. I've downloaded it from CG Traders and it doesn't have texture. It is important that it has texture right now so that the texture gets packed when we export it in the FBX file. So let me just search Shift A, search image texture, and then we can click on open. Just browse your texture over here. Now the link for this model will be in the description below. So we have our car model over here. Now what do we want to do is we want to go into the edit mode. As you can see, everything is one single mesh. Be in vertex or edge mode and then hover over the mesh, usually your wheel mesh, and press L. Now I will just select all the wheel meshes, press P, and then you can separate by selection. Now get out of the edit mode by clicking tab, or you can use the panel over here. Okay, now let's rename this to something like car body. Naming totally depends on you, and I will hide it. So here are my wheels. Now let's go into the edit mode, select everything, and P by loose part. Now each wheel is its own individual mesh. Now let's rename our wheels. So I'll just have my car body like this. So I like to look it from below. So this wheel, now you can rename stuff by just pressing F2. Let's name this as front left. Let's select this one, F2. This will be front right. Now most of you will call this rear, but I like to call it back wheel. So back left and back right. Okay, so now what we have to do is we will just hide the car body. Let's select each of this wheel, and you want now if I try to rotate this, okay, you'll see it is rotating from that point over there. So you need to set that origin point to somewhere where you like it. uh, I want my pivot point to be over this circle. So what I'll do is I'll just select everything, Shift S, and then selection, cursor to selected. Now right click, by selecting your mesh, right click and then set origin to 3D cursor. Now just do this to all the other wheels. By the way, selecting, just select one vertex, hold down control and just select a loop, Shift S, cursor to selected, get out of the edit mode, right click and origin to 3D cursor. Okay, so we are done setting the origin to each of the wheels. Now let's go into the car body. Now what we will do is, as you can see, our car body origin is over there. So let's okay, now let's do one thing. Let's select everything and at the end select the car body. Set your, you can either do it this way or you can just Shift S and then cursor to world origin, and then set your pivot point to 3D cursor. So as you can see, my gizmo just went over there. Now rotate it, so that rotate our car so that its front is facing the x-axis. So rotate by 90° on the Z. So as you can see, my car is facing towards the x-axis. And now what we will do is we will control A, rotation and scale. by selecting everything. Now let's go inside the scene, inside units, change this to 0.01. Now I don't think you need to change the unit itself. As you can see, this is in meters, but what you can do is you can change this length to centimeters. Now it is really small, and in the Unreal it will also be this small, so we don't want it like this. So do one thing, just select everything and scale, press S to scale and just type in 100. Now you'll see that our car is a bit vanishing. To prevent that, go to view and this start, change this to 10 and just add another 0 in this, and this will make it our viewport a bit large. So now that we are done with that, as you can see it has a scale of 100, which is not very good. So just while selecting everything again, Control A, rotation and scale. Now this is the size that I want, and we are basically done. We can now export this car model into Unreal. So for that, go into the file, export FBX, and now I will export the, yeah, car name is good enough for me. I'll make it to selected objects only, and then for the applying scale, now doesn't matter which scale you choose, but I like to keep it on FBX unit scale. My forwarding will be X axis, X is forward, and my Z is up. Okay, great. Now let's go into the geometry. Now I have seen people do change this to face, but I think I'll just keep it on normals only. By the way, this is a geometry setting and you can change it again and again if you want. I'll just keep it on normals. Let's see what happens. It doesn't have any animation right now, so I'll just not have these animations inside the armature. You We don't actually have the armature, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think that those are all the settings you need. Now you can just hit export. Wait a minute, let me just double check. Yeah, everything looks good. We do forgot to do one thing, and that is select your wheels and then select your car and then Control P, object. Now everything is parented to your car, and now we can safely export it. Export FBX. Car is good. So again, I think I'll have to plug the settings. FBX unit scale. X is our forward. Z is up. We don't have any animation. Everything is good. Now we can just hit export. And now we have exported our car from Blender to Unreal. Now I'll just cut this and let's open up our Unreal Engine. And now what we will do is select game, click on next. I will select the blank. You can start with the vehicle if you want, but I'll just select the blank, click next, and then I don't want any starter content. Keep it on blueprint. Okay, this is good. I'll just rename this to car. Let's create the project. Okay, I hope this doesn't lag too much. My PC is not that beefy to handle it. I'll just save this scene real quick. Let's call it level underscore 1. Save it. Okay, now let's import our mesh. So I'll just create a new folder, fbx. Let's create another folder. Let's call it car 1, and inside this folder let's import the fbx file. Now that fbx file is over here. Open it. Now it is important for you to check the skeletal mesh, and then you can convert it to scene units, but we already had done that in Blender, so there is no need. You can just click on import all. Everything is done. You can ignore everything. Now let's do one thing. Let's open up the physics asset, and as you can see, we have parented our wheels to the car body in Blender. I hope you saw that. Now what we will do is we will select everything, and let's right click and delete it. Go to the options and then show all bones. So over here, let's select our car body, and we are going to give it a collision mesh. So in the tool section, change this primitive type to single convex hull. By the way, you can do box, and you know what, I think I'll just show the box method because everyone just does the collision mesh. Let's make it unlit so that it doesn't lag that much. Okay, now I'll press alt K. Okay, K is the side view one, so I'll just zoom in on over here. Okay, so we have the box, and we will say add bodies. Now I think I'll just turn off the auto orientation and regenerate bodies. Now if you press shift sorry, space bar, then you can get this scale tool. Also I like to turn off all this snapping modes so that it is really smooth when I do this scaling. It is quite good the way it has adjusted itself. By the way, you can add multiple bodies too. I think all you have to do is, I think, right click and add shape, and then you can add a box over here. Okay, so I'll just adjust it a little bit. I don't care about that antenna, so I'll just make it so that it is somewhere over here. Let's scale it more. Yeah, this looks good. Now alt J, top view, it looks good. Alt H, front view, yeah, it looks good. Now I'm satisfied with it. Alt G to go into the perspective mode again. Now this is the box. Now select your wheels. These are all your wheel meshes, by the way, and as you can see, they are all pointing in the X direction. Now change this to sphere and add bodies. Now we have successfully created the collision meshes for wheel and body. So what I'll do is next is hide bones. Now these are all the collision bodies. Select everything, and just for like caution, click on enable collision and click on disable collision again. So this makes sure that all the collision between them doesn't happen and the car doesn't glitch. So we are done with the physics asset. By the way, uh, to see if you have exported your car model properly, I'm so sorry for that. Oh wow, it got minimized over here. Let me just okay, so just to see if you have exported your car model properly, you can go just select any of the wheel, um, go inside the body setup, go into primitive sphere, click on this 0, and as you can see, radius, it is 37.37 centimeters. If you have exported it incorrectly, it would have been something like 0.03 or 0.3737 in meters unit. Okay, yeah, so you know the radius of your wheel now. So okay, so let's get out of the physics asset. Now people who came from Unity to Unreal, in Unity we have wheel colliders, so in Unreal 2 we have wheel colliders. We can go to the blueprint class, click on the all classes, and then just type in wheel. Okay, WHEEL. Now as you can see, vehicle wheel, yeah, just click on that and select it. Now our front wheels and our back wheels both are different, so for that, this wheel collider will affect only front wheel. So front wheel collider, and I messed up the spelling. Sorry, my PC is really lagging right now. Okay, front wheel collider. Let's duplicate this, or we should wait. Nah, yeah, let's just duplicate it. Front wheel collider, and let's name this as back wheel collider. So we got our wheel colliders set it up. We do have to change some stuff, but before that, let's create another blueprint, and this will be vehicle. Okay, let's just type in wheel, and you'll see we have a wheeled vehicle pawn class. So just select this and select, let's call this as vehicle, or let's just call it car1 underscore bp, and let's just open it up. Now over here in the mesh, you have to go inside the mesh and select your car. Now our car is over here. Okay, let's just compile it. And now we don't really need the second material, but I don't know how to remove it either. So let's just keep it that way. We can re-import our car model, and it will be removed if we can remove that in Blender. So the first thing, let's do one thing. Let's go inside our level again, and let's go into the animation. Now we can create a controller. Okay, but this won't our controller won't actually control the mesh itself, but the colliders, and we have to remap the colliders rotation to the this visual feedback of these wheels. So for that we need to make a animation. We will do that by animation blueprint. So add in an animation blueprint. Don't forget to select the vehicle animation instance and select your car skeleton and click on OK. Let's call this car 1 Anim. Great. Now let's do we need to set anything in? Yeah, we do. So over here, uh, first we will search for wheel. Select this wheel handle for wheeled vehicles, wheel handler, and just connect it over here. And now let's select and drop it over here. Okay, so mesh space reference pose. Yep, that's all you need to do for automatically animating your wheels and car body. So let's just hit and compile, and it will start working. Now this wheel handler, uh, it actually looks at the transform of the vehicle, and the way just I explained, like it will actually remap the collision data to this wheel mesh. So let's just save this, and let's remove this from over there. Now the animation blueprint that we made, just select your mesh in the car blueprint and click on this drop down, car 1 anim. Yeah, just paste it over there. And now in the vehicle moment, you'll see that inside the vehicle setup we have this wheel setup, so you can add n number of wheels to it, and these are the 4 wheels. So we are in wheel class, and as you can see, we can select the front wheel collider and back wheel collider that we made over here. So now let's do one thing, go into here. Let's go into the event graph. By the way, yeah, we do have to make the axis component to it to control our vehicle. So let's go to the edit, project settings. Let's go into the input, and in the axis mapping, create 2 axis mapping. Let's call this as throttle, and now let's call this as steer. We will also create an action map for handbrake. So click on this icon and press spacebar. In the throttle we actually need 2 of them, so W and S. W will be 1, S will be -1. In the steer 2 we need 2 components, we need D and A. D will be positive, A will be negative, and we are done with the inputs for now. Now go inside your vehicle, and we need to make a controller for it. Let's take our vehicle moment and just type in throttle, set throttle input. We also need steer, set steering input, and we will have the handbrake. And as you can see, handbrake is a boolean, so we will need 2 of them. So just duplicate this one by Control W and just plug that over there. Now we need our axis input, so just right click and then type in throttle. So we need this one, axis event. and now plug the value over there. Now let's search for steer. This is the steer event that we created. Let's plug that over there. And then for the handbrake, let's search handbrake. This is the event that we created. Now when pressed, I want handbrake to be applied, and when released, I don't want handbrake to be applied. Okay, so this is done. Let us also create a camera for our car. So just select your this first scene route. Now let's search for spring arm. Okay, now let's select. Now let's add a camera and just parent it to spring arm. Now take your spring arm and move it up till where you like it. I like it over there. I will also rotate it to some degrees like this, and let's make this 600. Okay, I like the 600 value. Let's save and compile this. Okay, now let's take our spring arm and we are going to actually rotate it with our mouse. So let's take mouse event, mouse, let's type in XY. So mouse XY 2D axis, and now let's take this spring arm and add relative rotation. We need this one. Let's split the struct pin. Let's split this as well. Now we want our X to control the yaw, we want our Y to control the pitch, and we are done. We don't want to roll in our camera. Okay, now we are almost done. Let's remove this physics asset for once. Actually we do need physics asset though. Now let's set up the wheels. So let's go into the wheel collider. So this is the settings for our front wheel collider. The radius, as I said, you can plug the radius value by going into the physics asset, going into the body. So radius is 37.37. So I'll just paste it over here, 37.37. Mass totally depends on you. Now our front wheel are going to be steered, so I just want steering angle to be a little less, like 45 to 60 degree is a really good steering angle. Now these are all the tire settings for the friction and stiffness values. Suspension is over here and the brake and torque is over here, so you have to play with those. Now I'll just copy this and let's open up our back wheels as well. So in the back wheels, let's again put the radius. Now you can keep the steering angle to whatever you want. We will disable the steering in our car controller. So just compile and save both of these, and we are done with this. We don't actually need to look at colliders anymore. So inside the I think we need to click on the vehicle moment. Okay, so now we will set front two wheels. By the way, these wheels are totally random. Okay, it doesn't matter the sequence, you just need to have all the wheels correctly input. So first let's do one thing. Let's uh, give this first wheel front wheel collider. The second wheel, let's also give it a front wheel collider. Now these two will be my back wheels, so back wheel collider for both of them. Now it is asking for the bone name, so it is asking this component should be attached to whom. So to find that out, let's go into the physics asset, and as you can see, we have named our bone in Blender. So this is front left, front right, back left, and back right. So in your vehicle moment, let's type in bone name front left. It is case sensitive, so make sure that all the capital letters are capital. Front right, and then back left, sorry for that, back left, and this will be back right. Okay, so we are done with this as well. Now there is also one thing, you can see it says disable steering. So for both the back wheels I will disable my steering, and if you go down, I think it was in the differential settings, differential setup. Okay, so in the differential setup it is set to limited slip 4W. Now this is actually the drive, so we can say limited slip rear drive. I want my car to be driven by back wheels. If you want power to be in 4 of the wheels, then you can select this one, or for limited slip this 3, and for custom slip I guess you can select one of these. Now you can also change some stuff over here like steering setup and all, but let's first test our car now because it's almost done. Let me just check if I have plugged my animation. Yep, I did. Also, one thing to make sure, if you open up your Anim, car Anim, go to the class and make sure that the parent class is vehicle Anim instance. Yeah, and that's it. Everything is working right. Now we have to make a game mode, so let's go ahead, right click, blueprint class, select the game mode, and I'll just call it my GM game mode. Now go into the world settings, and inside the world settings you see game override. Just search your my game mode over here, and default pawn class we need it to be our car1 blueprint. Okay, let's save it, and if we play now, you'll see our car in the scene and it is drivable. Okay, you know what, I'll just make this platform a little bit wider so that we can test our car. So in the X let's go 50, and in the Y let's go 20. Now let's hit play again, and as you can see our car is driving with proper animation. Now you can control the, okay, you see this weird blurring, it is actually due to motion blur. You can turn that off. Actually, let's go inside the project settings, where it is, oh, wait, it is in the edit project settings. Just type in motion blur and just remove this motion blur from over here. Let's save it from here and here as well. Save selected, and let's hit play again. Now our car is driving, and now you can change some parameters for the wheel, suspension and all to make your car behave the way you want it, but it's working really well. Handbrake is working. Let's move forward, press handbrake. Oh, okay, one thing, I think in the wheel collider you see this, there is a affected by handbrake, so let's disable this for that. Yeah, and our back wheels can only affected by handbrake. Now let's play it again. Now my car moves, it is actually changing gears by the way. And now let's press handbrake, and as you can see my front wheels are moving even though my back wheels are affected by handbrake, which is really great. And now if I move reverse, it also acts as the braking action. So great, that's how you make a simple car inside Unreal by exporting it from Blender. By the way, if you like this video and learned something new, please like, share and subscribe, because I really need all your support to make more videos. By the way, in the next video we will do a little bit more complex stuff with the car. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.